Hello and welcome to the next session. So in this session, we will be discussing about how to create the certificates, TLS 1.3 certificates using the OpenSSL commands. Okay. And in the next session, we will be actually putting those certificates in use to make the service secure, right? So I'll be now walking you through two files. First one is the sand.cnf. Let's quickly look into the contents of the file, like what it looks like. Let me just take this out. So if you see, this file has got four sections. One is the request, then DN, then request extension, and the alternative names. Let's start from the bottom. So alternative names, because we are hosting the service on my local system, I have given this the alternative name as localhost so that the certificates comes in picture. The subject alternative name will be the alternative names array that we have set here, you know, and then because it will be hosted on my local host, the common name that I have given is also localhost, and these are some other parameters that are required as part of the OpenSSL command. So this is the configuration file. We will be using this configuration file into this batch file. I am quickly opening this file now. So if you look into this file, it has got a lot of OpenSSL commands, right? So first couple of commands are now for creating the root CA. Okay, so we in the last session we understood what is root CA, what is leaf nodes and leaf certificates and how these are connected and all that, right? I'll be tagging the previous session link here so that you can go and check that again. So the first command, if you see, here we are creating the root CA, which will be valid for 10 years, which is 3,650 days, right? So OpenSSL, here in the first command, we are creating the key for the root CA. Using that root CA key, in the next one, we are creating the root certificate, which will be my CA certificate, valid for 10 years, right? And these are the subject elements that we provide, which has the country, state, location, locality, and then the organization unit and organization and the common name. All these parameters we pass here, right? Once we create the root CA, then we create the server certificate. So in order to create the server certificate, we need to first create the server key. So here is the private key that we create. Using this private key, we are then creating a certificate signing request, CSR, right? One of the extension that we saw. And for creating this CSR, we are now utilizing the sand.cnf file, which we discussed earlier. Okay. Once this CSR is with us, then we use this CSR along with the root certificate to sign the certificate, right? So the next step is signing the server certificate with the CA, the certificate authority that we created. So this is the command OpenSSL, and then we pass the CSR. Along with that, we also pass the root CA certificate file. Along with that, we also pass the root CA key file, and the output here we are expecting is the server.crt valid for 1 year. This is the actual certificate which we will be using to make the service secure. Okay. Next one is the final conclusion command, which what we do here is the server.crt file that we created as an output here. We use that server.crt as an input, and here we are creating the pkcs12 file, that is the p12 file, as an output. This p12 file will be using to make the service secure. Okay. So in this session, we saw these two files, how we are using them, right? Now let's quickly run this batch file and see what it does. Okay, so let me let me show you uh, how we can execute this one. So here, if you see, we have got this file. this batch file. In this, along with this batch file, we do have the SAN CNF. Okay. Now we'll be executing this one, and this SAN CNF will be used in like internally. Let me double click this. You will be seeing new files being created here, and those will be the ones that we'll be using, right? So this command got executed, and as we expected, I have configured this to data on sort. Let me put it the other way around so that we can understand, right? So the top files were already there. These were the already existing files. I ran this batch file, and as an output, these are the files that got created as we expected, right? These are the CA and the other files. So as per our batch file, if we concentrate here, along with that in parallel, if we look into this, so first we were expecting the root CA, then we were expecting the server CSR, after that server certificate, and concludingly we were expecting the P12 file. Yeah, so these are the ones. We first created the roots like the CSRT. After that, we created the server CSR file, and then the server certificate got created. We used that to create the P12 file. Now, this is the ultimate P12 server certificate, which we will be configuring in the next session to make the service secure, right? I hope you understood all this. I have already committed all these code changes, these batch files, CNF file, and the service itself into my repository. You'll be finding the repository details in the description of this video. I'll see you in the next one. Thank you.